next, we're going to go ahead and hand off to Ali. And you're doing something with AI. I've heard about AI, but I'm really not familiar with it. So help me understand. That's a joke. Just putting that out there.
Oh yeah, the last 6 months we haven't heard enough about AI, that's for sure.
Right.
No, the AI I'm about to show you is a completely different type. It's actually an alternative to deep learning. So it can be applied at the edge or applied to very little data sets, like the list of devices we'd have in a NetBox account. And I'm keen to show it to you. Thank you so much for the handoff, Jordan. Should I just start?
Yeah, go ahead. All you.
Great. I have my teammate Shane here with me as well. We're from AO Labs. We're a research venture based out of Berkeley. And like I said, we're working on an alternative to deep learning. So full disclaimer, I didn't know much about device discovery. I only really learned about it because one of our users was an engineer at NetBox who thought of applying our AI to device discovery. So we put together this app that I'm really keen to show you, and I'm also keen to get your feedback to see if it can apply more in any of the NetBox instances you have, or maybe ways of extending it to fit other things, not just device discovery. So I'm going to share my screen and just go ahead and show you what we got. And I don't mind interactive questions if you guys want to jump in. I'm really liking this community meetup here. So anytime you have any questions, please feel free to jump in. Let me share my screen. Oops. So we're all familiar with NetBox, the lovely homepage that we can customize. The part that I'm specifically looking at, like the presentation previously was about virtualization. Here I'm talking about device discovery. So I'm logged in here to demo.netbox.dev. And at this moment, there's 77 devices on this network, everything from Tor switches to routers to patch panels. Now, this list of devices is constantly changing as I've learned interacting with this demo instance myself. And it's also dependent on, I assume that each NetBox instance kind of has it set up in a different way, what information they care about here. When adding new devices, and this is what I know of device discovery, when adding of new devices, it's really a pain in the ass, quite frankly, sometimes, where you have to kind of do this all manually. Like here, if I was to add this device and I was to commit maybe a cardinal sin of putting a Tor switch as something like that, just very sloppily adding a device, I can do it, but there's really no validation. And also, even if I was to add a device in bulk, it's still an issue of like there's manually a human validating. So the conversation we had with the person who was at NetBox was, can we have an AI automate this? Can we have an AI agent unique to each NetBox account to automate this for that account? So that's the demo I can show here. We have this page. You can try it out at bit.ly/netboxdd. You can try it out if you have a NetBox cloud account. So here I can connect this device discovery demo that I'm about to show you. The agent is running in the background. I can connect it to demo.netbox.dev. Let me grab my API token real quick.
Can you drop that bit.ly link, or maybe your coworker can drop that bit.ly link in chat for us?
Let me do that right now.
Sure.
I just generated it before the call, so
yeah, just click create.
Yeah, sorry, just let me share the bit.ly link. There you go. So now I can connect the AI agent that's running in the background of this app to that instance. So there are 78 devices in that instance, as we saw. I'm going to use all 78 for this demo. From those 78 devices, I'm going to go ahead and hide 28 devices, imagining that those are going to be newly discovered devices that we're going to test the agent on. But of course, if this agent was running, it can live in parallel with your list of devices, really. So this is just a snapshot. Let me call it 78, 28. And now you have an option of spinning up the agent, locally. They're really meant to be run locally. But we also have an agent as a service API set up. I'm going to go ahead and spin up this agent locally for now. So it's actually running in the browser session. So there we connected it to the NetBox account. Let me confirm that it's connected. Now we can imagine what it would be like to use this agent for device discovery. So you might be in a situation where you have to add all of these new devices, right? You have their names. You have to add these 28 new devices. We know the manufacturers. We might know the site and the type. Can we help you out? Can this AI agent help you out by predicting what role those devices are likely to have in your NetBox instance, given your previous setup of devices? We have here the actual role of those devices, those 28 devices that we pulled out, so we can compare results. So this agent, again, is only trained on 50 devices from that list of NetBox devices. I'm going to run this batch process right now. And there we're told that out of the 28 devices that were added, the role was predicted correctly 19 out of 28 times. So let's take a look. And it's even smart enough to sometimes tell you when it can't make a guess, right? We can filter out improper outputs because it's working with a fixed input output. So this is like no hallucination AI. Let me see if it actually managed to capture the test device I added, the AO Labs test device. No, it didn't. But yeah, so this agent also works as an autocomplete feature. So you'll notice that this agent really made quite a few mistakes. Maybe if the data was more structured, it would have performed better, but it still made quite a few mistakes. Now, part of our philosophy on AI at AO Labs, what we're trying to do to different than deep learning and the stuff we all heard about before, is that this AI is not pre-trained. As you saw, I trained it right now on this list of devices. And in fact, I can continuously live train it. So as an autocomplete, let's imagine the situation as an autocomplete. I might have these list of devices, manufacturer, site, and type again. And now I need to add those new devices. So kind of like parallel to this page over here. And if I'm adding new devices, like let's say this is an APC, oh, there it's giving me a recommendation. And this recommendation, let's say that I do know better. Let's say that I do know that this is actually an access switch, not a Tor switch. So if I do add this new device in this way, the agent is retrained instantly, or continuously trained rather. And so now it'll kind of like expect that to be an access switch going forward. It's not AI if you can't really retrain it yourself, right? You can view the agents you have in session. I can very easily spin up another agent. In fact, I'm going to do that real quick because it's that quick. Let me use less devices. Let me use 50 devices, and we'll use 10 for testing. I'm going to call that 50, 10. And I'm going to spin up this agent on our API. So let's say you decide to play with these agents. Instead of having to host them locally and worry about their persistent memory, we can spin them up in our API. We'll host the agents for you. But super happy to have the agents live in your code as well, depending on your needs. It's a bit slower on the API. I have it throttled right now. But there you go. I might be in a similar situation. These are my list of devices. Let's see how this agent performs. This is agent 5010. There. In this case, actually, it performed very well. Very cool. Didn't expect that. And again, as an autocomplete, I can like actually I can go mess up its training right now. Let's say that again I'm a sloppy NetBox user, and I have this Tor switch that I'm forcing it to be an access switch. And I'm going to do that. Just yeah. Let's see how that affects it now. If I was to run this again, it might get slightly worse results. In this case, I mistrained it, but well, no, it's still good. And there you can view both agents. This one is hosted on the API. This one's a local agent living in the browser session. These agents are well documented, so you can go ahead and spin up as many as you need. You can even configure it, because right now this agent here was specifically taking in the manufacturer type, site, and role, and correlating, sorry, the manufacturer type and site, and correlating that with role, learning to associate that with role. You can very easily configure an agent for any other part of NetBox. But I'll pause here for questions, because again, I'm really learning about device discovery, and I would love to see if these agents are useful and helpful. I'll pause here for a few questions before Jordan cuts it off for more questions at the end.
Yeah, I know I have a ton of questions, but I'll save for the end. So we've got about 2 minutes left. Can do a little bit more if we're going over, but any questions for Ali?
Cool. If there aren't any questions, I can just show, like in the last 2 minutes, I can just show a few more resources here. You can look at how this agent is coded up. All of this is open source and available. So the agent, this particular application, looking at it, that's the main page here. We're using Streamlit for the front end. We're really AI people. We don't know anything other than AI. So we're using Streamlit for the front end. But this is where I just want to show one thing here real quick. This is where that agent is configured. It's literally only taking in manufacturer, type, and site for role. And we have 10 parameters to capture the manufacturer ID and turn it into our agent's binary. Thank you. I'll pause for now. Thank you all for that.
Yeah. So there's a quick question there in chat asking about trying it using Docker. Is that a possibility?
Yes. Yes. So you just need to spin up a Python environment in a Docker container, and then you can run the agent in that Docker container for sure. Yeah.
Cool.
The agent is a object.
And just so you're aware, your Discord link isn't working. I instantly tried to join, and it's
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to post the proper one here. Thank you.
That's what you bet. Wow, that's impressive. I like I said, I have questions, but we'll go ahead and save those for the end.
Yeah, please. We need use cases. Maybe we can, like, we literally spun this up. You can easily configure the agent to take in any other type of information. So for devices, maybe there's other applications that are more even pertinent. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Let me stop sharing now.